There's a lot of farming that takes place with food and the local movement of what that means. So, for example, Taz does farming. They've raised lambs, chickens. They were biodynamic in their farming. They also had a garden patch where they were growing a lot of their own vegetables and for products that we use with them when we were doing a pop-up at Taz. Ravine Vineyards always had their own gardener on staff, and they've raised animals, and Rye raised pigs in tandem with Paul Harbour. And then we have a 2-acre farm that's connected to our restaurant, so we pull most of our product from this. And then I think what's new that we've introduced to people is that we can farm through the winter. We get winter vegetables that come out. So this year we were able to pull carrots. We had Brussels sprouts, I think, and kale.
Or January,
all the way through. So we were able to draw on that garden because, and in particular this year, because it was a mild winter. But our growing season is tremendous around here. And so I think with the development and the rise of chef culture down here in Niagara, the farming is sort of going in tandem with that. I don't think that relationship could happen. And this is what distinguishes our chefs, our sort of cuisine, our culinary experience down here, is that when people visit this area, they're getting stuff straight. It's not being shipped in on a truck. Like, you can get it straight from the ground. And this is unique, to us.
Yeah, I think it's the awareness, the awareness of, I guess, the quality. I think it was so interesting last year when we started our farm, just to be able to pull the carrots out. And I think chefs understand that it's not just about being organic or whatever. The local just has just a better flavor because it's picked that day. You eat it that night, and there's just a better flavor. And there's sort of this synergy between eating. I think we understand this synergy between eating the carrot grown in Niagara. I think it's exciting. There's lots of Ravine is starting their farm program up again. They have a full-time farmer working with them. They have a small farm on site at Ravine. We have our little farm. We're doing it, and people are just serving AG Restaurant in the Falls as their farm.
Yeah.
And I think it just we're all understanding that it's important to have the freshness and the quality. And I think it's great. I think it definitely defines that we are in an agricultural area versus being in downtown Toronto in a concrete jungle. We actually can walk out our door and get the vegetables that day, which I think that's a defining aspect of
it's a bit slower, and I like that coming down, and we were just talking about that with our restaurant, because I think, to be fair to Torontonians, that, there's urban gardening that's taking place there, and I think their chefs are well aware of that, and there's really a great culinary scene in Toronto now, and but we have maybe a little bit of the luxury of and the desire. Like, I have that desire as a restaurateur. When I'm hosting my guests, I want to slow down time for them a bit. They've left the city. They're on holiday. They're coming down here to get away. And so and you can sometimes see people when they first arrived and they come in and they're a little bit hyper and rush still. And then hopefully you can just chill that out. And I think that Ryan's method of cooking and the way that he goes about that, coupled with what we try and do out front as well, is all in relationship to we're in a small area, we're in a rural area, and let's just take our time with it.